Mr. Mani, welcome to Radio Islam.
Thank you.
Can you confirm that these reports are accurate, that the president of the MKP, Mr. Jacob Zuma, cannot attend SONA as he intended to because of having to tend to legal proceedings? Do you think this was deliberate?
Definitely deliberate, because this date was advertised last year already. So the judiciary would have known about this date, but they didn't care, because they don't care about President Zuma. In fact, if it was up to this judiciary, he should still be in jail and all of that. So indeed, they continue to show a resentment for President Zuma. Big event happening today. You would have thought that if we had an arm of the state that is sensitive to the agenda of the country, they would ensure that they accommodate a national event like this.
When did they set the date for his having to be there as part of the legal proceedings? Was it after he informed Parliament that he would be attending this year's SONA?
I don't know when they set the date, but the date being announced to be today would not have been done in isolation of the date that was set by Parliament. Parliament was the first. There's no dispute on that. Parliament was the first to say when will be the state of the nation. So anything else that had to happen subsequently would have happened with that knowledge being public.
Did his legal team perhaps try to engage the relevant authorities to postpone that so he could attend SONA?
No, then you fall into another trap where they say Stalingrad. Maybe that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
Then they say, no, Zuma is delaying his trial and all of that. So no, there was no point in doing that, because it would work against you again. Then next time they will add as one of the things that, well, we were ready on the 6th, but President Zuma had other more important things to do.
Now, you've been involved with the president for a number of years, right, including the foundation, etc., before the formation of the MK party. He has chosen not to come to SONA from the time he left office as president of the republic, and this year he intended to come as per his communication. Is there a reason why specifically this year he wanted to come?
No, look, I think obviously because he wanted to support his party, that is here. Not because he thought Mr. Ramaphosa was going to say anything. He was just here to give us some support that we must know that we're not orphans here. We've got a father of the nation. So he would have wanted to give us that support.
So this is the first SONA that takes place now with the MK as the kind of official opposition, right? The DA obviously is part of the GNU. Last year, or not the actual SONA, but the opening of Parliament address that took place after the elections. You were seen side by side with the EFF. You had a briefing which we attended, the Progressive Alliance and the like. What's the state of that now, with EFF members having moved across? Is that somewhat fractured, tense? What's your plan as an opposition? Is it merely to listen, or do you have something else planned for the SONA tonight?
Yeah, no, look, the MK party is a disciplined party. We're not going to do any theatrics in the party. We're disciplined. We'll sit there and discipline members of parliament and listen to their address. We're not going to raise a point of order or anything. We're just going to continue there and listen. And then on the 11th, on the date of debating the SONA, then we'll come out guns blazing to deal with all the platitudes that we're expecting here today.
Lastly, Mr. Mani, we know that Donald Trump has made certain remarks about South Africa's policies, right? Subsequent to that, South African-born richest man in the world now, Elon Musk, echoed it. Just this morning, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, making the same statement, saying, I'm not coming for the Group of 20 meeting, etc. What's the MK party's interpretation of this kind of approach by the US government, and then also your opinion on how President Ramaphosa has handled it thus far?
Firstly, for the US to say they're not coming to the G20 because of South Africa and all of that, it's probably a very informed decision, because they are not going to be led by a puppet. They know that this Ramaphosa installation into the leadership of this thing, there's nothing to it. It's just part of the shenanigans of the West. So they're not going to be fooled by that, as it were. So President Trump is doing all he can for his own America. What should be happening here? We should be having a president of the country that is doing all he can for South Africa, but instead we have a dwarf leading the country that has got no clue what to do to leverage the mineral wealth of the country so that South Africa can stand on its 2 feet and deal with the world as an equal partner. But now we're sitting here with a crybaby that now you are taking the money for aid and all of that. We are a rich country. Why is it that the richness of this country is not used to benefit the great majority of our people? When America is making projections about how many cars to build, they depend on our iron ore in the country. Why is it that these inept people cannot even understand that basic.
Mr. Manye, thank you for your time on Radio Islam.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.